is what I wake up to every morning.
I am a full-time house sitter. I've been doing it for the past 4 months. Probably wondering what that means, what it means to be a full-time house sitter. I go through a site called trustedhousesitters.com. I've done about 4 different house sits then, and right now I'm in Seattle doing a house sit. It is a 2-month long house sit, and so it's pretty decent amount of time. The other ones that I did were ranged from anywhere from 4 to 9 days. What house sitting is, you sign up on Trusted House Sitters. The annual fee is about a little over $100, depending on which one you choose. I chose the cheapest one. That one works just fine. You create a profile, make sure you're verified, pay that annual fee, and then as soon as you book your first house sit, I would say that fee is absolutely worth it. Like, it pays for itself, because accommodations is incredibly expensive, which is another reason that I decided to house sit. I want to give you some background on me and my life. I graduated from college in 2019. I moved to Portland. A year later, I got my full-time job in my profession, which was journalism. It was a year-long contract. Ended that contract, decided not to renew it, just because, I decided that that's like working full-time as a journalist was not exactly the path that I tried it, I did it. It's just not for me. So I didn't have a plan when I ended that job. I knew that I could get some other job, and I did get a couple different job offers, and I just decided that, this is the perfect opportunity to figure out my life and to just figure out what makes me the most happy. And I've always wanted to go down the entrepreneur path. I was renting out a room in Portland, and I moved out the end of August, or the end of September. And after I moved out, I didn't really have a plan. My mom lives in Portland, so I was able to stay with her while I kind of figured it out a little longer. My old roommate, they brought up the idea of house sitting. They had house sat in San Francisco and went to this convention, a vegan convention, because I lived in an all vegan household, which was pretty rad. To use the Trusted House Sitters site, which is how I found out about it, and I was like, I really wish I knew about this sooner. So I was like, I'll just give it a shot. I wanted to stay kind of, with people I'm familiar with in a city that I was familiar with at first while trying it out for the first time. I think that was the best best thing that I could have done. I've traveled quite a bit, and but I still was a little skeptical. I don't know. It seemed almost too good to be true, this house sitting thing. But once I landed that first one and I did that first house sit, it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. It was for 2 cats in a really great neighborhood of Portland. So it was also cool to see and live, and even if it was just for 8 days, just to live in a different part of my own city. I had different things available to me because there's all these neighborhoods have something different to offer. So you could do it locally, you can leave the city and do it somewhere else. Either way, it's still a great opportunity. I wasn't really sure where I was going to go with house sitting, which is why another reason I started local. And in the meantime, to make ends meet, I've been freelance writing. So I'm just occasionally writing articles to kind of make sure there's some sort of income coming in, but I don't have to stress as much about making enough money for rent and rent associated bills anymore. So basically all of my bills for every month were slashed in half. So I don't have to freelance as much when living in a home and paying, my bills every month. That has been really nice. And it's also given me a lot more time to kind of figure out what I want to do with my life. It's taken some time. It's like I'm 25, it almost feels like my quarter life crisis is happening. So you get on the site and you look, you can choose whatever city you want, and then you just send a little note, you apply and say, hi, like I'm really interested in caring for your pets, insert pet's name, and then whatever, like things I'm interested out their profile, why it works out for you, why you're the best person to take care of their pets in their home, and then you'll either hear back or you won't hear back. Most people do respond back, even if they say that they found somebody else, they will probably get back to you one way or the other. Once you're accepted, you pack your bags and you go to their house. Give you the keys or the code to their house. I'll tell you just a side story about my very first house sitting gig. It was 2 cats, so it was pretty chill for the most part, but I did have to give one of the cats a pill. And so I would just kind of open its little mouth and then pop the pill in there and give him some food afterwards. And it was super chill. He was really great about getting the pill, but it was like, first time I've ever done that before. It was an interesting experience. So it's just like things like that. Like, people have different needs with their different pets, and just based on your comfort level on what you're most comfortable taking care of. Like me personally, I'm more of a cat person. So I am kind of putting on that filter when I'm searching, like, who only has cats? because I mean, I love dogs, but they're definitely a lot more work. And like, I want to, you know, be able to go out for the day and not worry too much about, you know, a dog at home. Also, I've never owned a dog on my own either, so that's just like my personal preference. And that's the cool thing about Trusted House Sitters, is the fact that you get to choose. Like, it's completely flexible. If you want to just take care of bunnies, I bet you could probably do that, because there's a lot of people who have bunnies and birds, and there's even some people with farm animals. It ranges. You can go close to your city, as far as your city is if you want. You can go out of the country with it, which would be really cool to do sometime in the future. I didn't really have any goals when I first started out with house sitting. Like, my only goal was like, I have to make sure I make enough money to live and travel as well, because I do plan on traveling with house sitting further than Seattle. Hopefully that's the goal. So in order to do that, I need like money for flights and trains and public transit, even like within the vicinity that I'm staying in. So it's just like little things like that. But overall, still no need to pay for accommodation, which is amazing. What I ended up with was, during house sitting, is a lot of extra time on my hands to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. And everybody's always wondering, like, where are you? What are you doing right now with your life? And I got asked that question so many times. I'm just going and following just doing the next best thing that feels right, you know? And at this moment, making this video is what felt right to me. And also, it allows me to kind of explain and document what is going on with my life as I just take one opportunity to the next. And another reason I'm house sitting and why it works out in this timing in my life is that I am planning at the end of this month to apply to teach English in Spain. And that term starts in, so I think, October this year. And I have between now and October to just house sit wherever and make the most of this experience and figure out what else I'm gonna do. That'll be a fun journey to be going on. But I studied abroad in Spain for 6 months in a little town called Granada. And ever since I've been back, that was in 2018. And ever since, all I could think about was moving back to Spain one day. So I was like, okay, then teaching English is one really good way to do that. And so that's what my plan is at the moment. Another reason that I'm sharing this experience of house sitting with you is because I think it's something that more people need to know about, because it is seriously so cool. Like, this whole thing is just, I just wish I knew about it sooner. I was genuinely shocked that I didn't know about this before, because I am always looking to travel on a budget. Also, I forgot to mention this earlier, but there is a referral code to get you a discount on Trusted House Sitters, and you can use that by clicking the link below. If you enjoyed this video at all, please subscribe. I'll be posting every week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope there was some takeaways from this video, or maybe you are inspired to try house sitting for yourself.